Hi, my name is David Shapiro. I'm a San Diego-based criminal defense attorney experienced handling DUI cases. Now, DUI cases are a little bit different than most criminal defense cases that we see, but there are some common similarities, particularly common similarities when determining what attorney to hire, and some tips as far as what attorney to hire to represent you when charged with the DUI. What you're going to be looking for, what you should be looking for, are attorneys who are experienced handling DUI cases, who have trial experience handling DUI cases, who have handled suppression motions involving DUI cases, and who are kept up to date by way of seminars and the recent laws affecting DUIs and the breath instruments, the blood instruments, so on and so forth. You also want an attorney who has a plan in place as it relates to handling your DMV hearing, whether it's that attorney handling that Department of Motor Vehicles hearing for you themselves, or having another attorney or even a non-attorney associated with that firm representing you at DMV, because the DMV hearing, assuming it is set up within the first 10 calendar days from your arrest, will determine what happens with your license. Because no matter what happens in criminal court, if you either don't set up your DMV administrative hearing within 10 calendar days of your arrest, or if you do it and DMV rules against you at that hearing, your license is going to be suspended for at least 4 months. Now, depending on your background and the facts associated with your case, you might be able to get a restricted license, but that's all independent from what happens in criminal court. In criminal court, whether it's a DUI or any type of case involving criminal charges, you want an attorney who's familiar with the courthouse where your case will be heard. You want an attorney who has a good reputation, and more importantly, who's earned a good reputation with judges, prosecutors, and court staff. Because that way, that attorney, many times, you won't even need to go to court on misdemeanor DUI charges. Felony's a different story. You need to be there. But for misdemeanors, you won't even need to go to court. So the attorney you hire will be your representative in every aspect of the imaginable. That attorney will be the one representing you in court. You will likely not even be there. So you want to make sure you hire an attorney with a good reputation, who's presentable, who's respectable, and who has a plan in place in defending against these cases. Now, many times people come to my office and ask questions about, well, why do I need a DUI lawyer, or any lawyer for that matter, if I was so high above the blood alcohol content? Well, I think sometimes you need a DUI lawyer and an experienced criminal defense attorney in those cases more than ever, because you don't just want to throw up your hands in the air and say, oh, you got me, I'm twice the legal limit, let me plead. You want to make sure you get the best possible outcome given the facts of your case. There may be certain issues related to why you were pulled over, why you were arrested, how long it took from the time you were pulled over until the time you were arrested, issues related to the chemical tests, whether breath or urine. All of those things could affect your punishment if you're convicted, and more importantly, whether you get convicted in the first place of a DUI charge. There's also the component that a lot of times people overlook. And in order to be convicted of a DUI, the prosecution needs to prove that you, in fact, were driving. And at the time you were driving, you were either under the influence of alcohol, or you were 0.08 or higher at the time of driving for an alcohol-related DUI. Just because you're 0.08 or higher at the time of the test doesn't mean you're 0.08 or higher at the time driving. That's another little wrinkle in these DUI cases. Even on cases with the relatively low blood alcohol level, the city attorney's office and the district attorney's office, particularly in San Diego and throughout Southern California, have taken a more hardline stance throughout the years over these types of cases and what the criteria are for reducing these charges, whether it's dismissing the DUI charges and reduced for a wet reckless or a dry reckless, those types of misdemeanor negotiated pleas. So they're not giving them out as often as they used to. So even more the reason to make sure you have the best possible attorney on your side advocating for you, that can know when the appropriate time is to dig their feet in the ground and say, we're going to push them, we're going to take this case to trial, and to know when it's time to sit there and say, hey, client, it's time for you to resolve this case. It's in your best interest to resolve this case. Only an experienced attorney can do that for you.